So the first part of the reason why we exist is to provide those critical capabilities to the Joint Force and to the nation and really to the world that we've come to rely on. The second big piece to the reason why we exist and the emergent reason why the Space Force exists is because of the threat. So the big takeaway on the threat, there's two key factors to be aware of when it comes to the threat in space. One, adversaries recognize our reliance on space. The Chinese in particular watched our success in the battlefield, the Desert Storm, and fundamentally completely changed their approach to warfare and realized that they had to take a very drastic, some drastic measures to adjust their forces to be able to compete and gain an advantage against the United States. So their intent, an open press and academics and writing and whatnot, is explicitly stated to deny the U.S. our use of space in crisis and conflict. PRC and the Russians primarily are the adversaries referenced here. They've developed direct ascent anti-satellite missiles, so DAASATs. These are ground-based missiles that are designed to launch rapidly and kinetically destroy satellites on orbit. The Chinese, Russians have also developed co-orbital ASATs, so spacecraft designed to disrupt, degrade, deny other spacecraft on orbit. And they've also developed directed energy, which is just another way to say laser, and electronic warfare, that's jamming. Those are largely ground-based capabilities with antennas that are designed to jam signals up on orbit. And I'll talk a little bit about our systems as well in that regard. But that's only half the battle with the threat. The second half, and the one that is emerging probably the most quickly and most concerning, is that, as you'd expect, the Chinese have watched our ability and our effectiveness on the battlefield, and they are copying us. They are mirroring that. And they have now developed a very sophisticated, very capable space-based kill web that is designed to find, target, and strike U.S. forces. Our Navy forces, particularly in the Indo-Pacific region, in the Pacific Ocean, our air forces, should we have to come to the aid of Taiwan, for example, that's a long range. The Pacific Ocean is a big ocean, and it requires over-the-horizon communications. It requires intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance capabilities, and precision because of the distance. And the Chinese are looking to, and have fielded, again, sophisticated capabilities designed to target and strike our long-range forces. For example, just this year, they have, in 2023, I should say, China had over 66 space launches with 217 payloads launched. And this number, again, is one of those that are outdated. They have now placed over 800 spacecraft in orbit, and that's actually a growth of over 550% since 2015. So they are exponentially growing the size of their space, of their fleet. 470 of those at least are surveillance and reconnaissance spacecraft, again, specifically designed to find, target, and strike the joint force. Russia, much smaller, 19 launches in 2023. They have the third largest space program, but there's two things I want to highlight here just to keep in the back of your mind. We all know about GPS, but the Chinese and the Russians have both developed their own organic GPS-like systems. The Chinese have developed Beidou, and the Russians have developed and employ their system known as GLONASS. Of interest there, should the Chinese or the Russians decide to deny our access to GPS, they could still technically operate with precision navigation and timing using their own Beidou and GLONASS capabilities respectively. So there's concern there about their ability to operate and denying ours.